world. My name is Max Stein, and I love video games.
I'm the Megabuck. I really love video games.
My name is Raph, and I also really love video games.
Hey friends, Vinny here, and I love video games.
And welcome to the Game Treasure Podcast, where we discuss treasured video games of yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Warning, the Game Treasure Podcast is not for children or anyone with a brain for that matter. And welcome, dear listener or viewer, to our 100th episode.
Oh, that's today.
Fireworks.
Yeah, we made it. An arbitrary number that looks good because of the 2 zeros. And we saved a very special topic for this very special episode. Today, dear viewer or dear listener, we are doing our Console Carousel for the PlayStation 2.
Wow.
The best
Fucking go.
video game console of all time, dare I say.
Truly.
But before we get into our Console Carousel, the segment where we each pick 5 games that are our favorite games from a given console. So don't add us. We're not saying these are the best games. These are just our favorite games for the PlayStation 2 that you're about to hear.
But
One of mine was really high on the Metacritic score.
Yeah, and I have one that's in like the 500s.
Yeah.
But let's kick it off the right way by I'm gonna take the ball and hand it off to our in-game historian, the Megabuck, so he can tell us about the PlayStation 2.
Now pass
Buck,
me the rock.
You have the floor. You have the rock.
I didn't know. Yeah, that's right.
Give this man the speaking stick.
Oh, the PlayStation 2, holy smokes, the best-selling video game console of all time. Literally.
Man,
Somewhere between 155 and 160 million units, depending on who you ask and where you measure.
Damn.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Second and third place. Second place belongs to the Nintendo DS at 154, like 0.2 million. And third place belongs to the Nintendo Switch at 154 and change.
Man, oh man.
So there's a small amount of chance that the Switch could surpass the PS2, but it hasn't quite yet. So that's mainly because of how long they were producing games. There's over 2,000 titles in North America alone, over 4,000 or 5,000 if you include other regions.
Wow.
2,000.
Yeah, seriously.
Like gasping at the 4,000 is insane.
If you were to measure all of the sales of all titles in all regions all over the world, it's somewhere in the ballpark of 1.5 billion with a B games that were sold, PS2 games that were sold. Because, if they sold,
Holy
10 million copies of God of War or whatever, that all adds up. So
Right.
that's
Holy
a lot of games.
shit.
Holy shit, yeah.
This
Fantastic.
right?
Shit.
This console was probably your first DVD player because
mine.
it was
Absolutely.
a lot of folks.
It was the
DVD
first one I
player.
had
In
in
fact,
my room. Yeah.
every Sega fanboy would tell you if they had a time machine, they would probably go back in time and go, wait, slap a DVD player in that Dreamcast before you ship it.
Oh my God, imagine.
Because a lot of people equate that to why the PS2 won, not just the titles and everything else. Launched October 26th in the year 2000 for $299 US. If you were to convert that into today's money, that's $562 and change. Was the launch price of the PS2. But I've got a question for you.
That was a Friday night, by the way.
I know.
I was there.
I've got a question for you.
Yeah, really?
Guys, here she is. Here she is in all her
Yes,
glory,
yes.
the PS2. Spotify video
Beautiful.
moment here for you, kids. Here's the PS2. But why does the PS2 look like this? I posed the question to you.
Well,
Mac,
why
I
does it?
shared an image with you, Mac. I don't know if you can pop that up on screen.
Is it all the fans?
I present to you the answer in this image. And the answer
What
is
am I looking at here?
you are looking at the canceled Atari Falcon 030 Microbox.
That's a floppy disk drive.
That's a floppy disk gaming PC that Atari was working on that they abandoned to focus on the Jaguar. And Sony bought some of the rights from Atari when they sold off some of their assets, and one of them was the form factor of the Atari Falcon 030 Microbox.
Wow.
Which if you read the And of course, there are some differences, but if you look, it does have the ridged style that's raised. It looks like they flip-flop the two form factors on the top of it there, the way the base works, the way the ports work. But if you read the copyright and the patent for the shell of the PS2, you'll find that they do reference to that unit there, admitting that that's where they took it from, but they own the rights to it, so it didn't matter.
Does that one have an Ethernet port on the front side?
That one
Is that
there?
what I'm seeing there? The
That
Atari
would have probably
one?
been a telephone.
That's a
I'm
phone
sorry,
jack.
Ethernet.
phone jack.
Yeah.
But
You know
yes,
what I mean.
it would have had those things in the front. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. In the front
But
is
then,
good.
just 4 years later, we got this guy. The PS2 Slim. Probably the coolest fucking console ever, because if you compare the size of these two to each other.
Yeah, dude, taking the PS2 Slim to college was the best, man. It's your DVD player, and it plays your hundreds of
The
games.
PS2 Slim, I don't know if you guys remember, dropped at just $150.
Beautiful.
Fucking kicks ass.
You know, it's a.
Could you imagine today if they released a Switch Super Light, Super whatever, and put it out for like $150, $99?
You don't have the guts.
It would be insane. So the PS2 came out again in 2000, slimmed down in 2004, did not stop production until the year 2013. Almost
How about
13
that?
years later. Is that the longest production cycle of any video game console ever?
Are you asking,
I
or
think
do you
it
not
is.
know?
I'm asking if you think it is.
I feel like it
I
must
think
be.
it
We
is.
we talked about it pre-show.
trick.
I said something when we were gaming the other day about how, like, when I was going through a list of like trying to find my favorite PS2 titles.
Yeah.
There was like two waves of it was like, well, these were all the games that I really liked back when I lived with my parents, but then also I had a PS2 when I moved away by myself, and I played completely different games when I was basically an air quotes adult, when I was 20.
Well,
for
the difference what
whatever.
you're talking about is also how much longevity does it have?
I feel like if anything, if any product life cycle is going to beat that, it's going to be like the GBA or something like that.
Yeah, I
No,
really
it's
can't
not
think
actually.
of anything.
And the PS2 had the second longest production cycle of any console in the history so far of video games.
What's
the number
longest?
one?
The Wii.
From 1977 to 1992, the Atari 2600.
Oh, no way.
Wow,
Come on.
15 years they made the Atari
Come on,
2600.
different era.
The difference is when they actually produced the consoles. And what you were saying, Mac, really and truly was not only they were still producing the consoles, but then after they even stopped producing the consoles, the games were still. You wanted to play more PS2 games than play a PS3.
Well, it
games
was
on
what
the
you
cases.
said, 2000 to what was it?
2013.
2013, yeah.
So I graduated college in 2012.
Yeah.
So I literally
So you
mean
were
like
playing-
it was my entire from age 10 to like when it was like I got the PS2 when I was a wee lad, and they were still making them and advertising good shit all the way up until I
Mr.
was drinking
Benecourt,
beer, playing
took
Shin
you
Megami
through a-
Tensei. And my
Could you
Rule
imagine
system.
Could you imagine if the biggest console for us was the NES through elementary school, middle school, high school, and
Right.
college? Because that's what the
Wow.
PS2
Wow,
was
dude.
to these
Yeah.
guys.
That's wild. I wouldn't have
fucking
even thought
rocks,
of that,
dude.
man.
I mean,
That's
really,
crazy.
if I graduated college in 2003, and
Mm-hmm.
if the NES had been the only console from like 1990 to 2003, it would have been the same length of stretch. And
And it's an 8-track player.
that's
Well,
Betamax.
that's amazing. Well, what say you, gentlemen? Would you like to dive headfirst into the greatest console of all time?
Absolutely.
Let's
Let's
go.
go for it.
100%,
Yeah, let's
man.
go.
Let's
lead
for
us
it.
off, Mac.
I will go first with my carousel of video games. I have all these games that I'm about to mention, but I don't have them with me because I'm selling my house. And I put a bunch of stuff in storage, and all of my PlayStation 2 games
You
are in storage. I don't
started
wanna
with
be
your
here.
video games? You're supposed to do those
Well,
last.
I started with a bunch of shit in there,
kidding.
unfortunately. Number 5 favorite PlayStation 2 game for myself, published by Capcom and developed by a tiny little studio called Clover Studios, which you won't hear the last of from me. Coming in at number 5 is 2006's God Hand.
Oh, hell
Directed
yes.
by Shinji Mikami, a.k.a. Resident Evil's Pappy.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Huh,
Yes,
that's
this
crazy.
is a 3D beat 'em up game. with the worst cover art for one of the best games ever.
Is that the guy getting punched in the face?
It's a guy, just a picture, not a stylized, cool anime picture, but just like a photograph of a mohawked man with a really lame-looking tribal tattooed fist next to his head. And I remember seeing it in like the Blockbuster and being like, that looks like dog shit.
That's a very road rash thing, kind of thing to do.
It feels really ridiculous. But in college, when I was getting into like being groovy, I found out that this game is actually really awesome and fun. It's like Rocky Horror Picture Show where it's like kind of naughty and silly. You know what I mean?
Very Fist of the
but
North Star.
it's kind of got like almost like
Yes.
none of the seriousness from Yakuza and just all of the goofiness.
Yep,
You play as a guy named Gene who like lives. You're like in this Wild West sort of setting. It's got like a Westaboo love to it, and you're just protecting your girlfriend from bad guys, like Buck just said, like Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
That's basically it. But the gameplay is where the game shines. It's just a really tight beat 'em up. You've got dodge buttons where you can like slip in every direction, which always feels cool. There's like an adjusting difficulty system where like the better you do, there's like like a bar you can track the harder the game gets. And like as the game gets harder, quote unquote, like the AI starts to be less predictable, and like in the lower difficulties, AI will only attack you if your camera is facing them, but in the higher difficulties, they'll just bum rush the fuck out of you and attack you all at once. But you get to, my favorite thing about the beat 'em up aspect of this game is that you get to make your own combos. So you go to like a menu which you can like it's got like the standard stuff that you see in a beat 'em up. Like here's your square, 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 square. Here's your square, triangle, da 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 da. But then there's like over 100 different single moves that get grouped into the like this is a strong attack and this is a weak attack, and then you get to make bespoke combos for yourself, and some of them get outrageous. If you look up videos of people playing God Hand like that have played it for 1,000 hours or whatever, it basically looks like a single player fighting game. Like they're like kicking people and then juggling them and then catching them in the air and suplexing them and then like finishing it all off with these things called roulette moves, which will be like everything from like beheading everyone in a room to like launching a single guy into space. Like it like does this like straight up like camera swing thing where it'll like swoop in and he'll just like boom and then launch them Team Rocket style until they become just like a little blip in the sky. The enemies are funny. You end up fighting a bunch of like pocket-sized Power Ranger guys. Like they look like jockeys, but they're like a Sentai team, and there's a bunch of kooky enemies. It's really fun. If you haven't seen it, you know, I should have looked up the MSRP on these games or whatever, but God Hand is just it's my number 5 because it's just a beat 'em up, but I think it's my favorite beat 'em up for the PlayStation 2.
Dude,
That game's a great game.
In the footage, I looked up footage of it while you were talking there, and I just straight up saw this guy just do a sweeping kick and launch 5 guys into a wall at the same time. It's amazing. Like this is incredible.
And the sound effect, you do like you just your regular heavy kick, and you'll hit a guy so hard his feet come out from underneath him, and you're like, whoa!
Incredible.
Jesus Christ! Oh, and you have this God mode. You have a God Hand. Go figure. And it turns you into like God mode where you don't take any damage, and all your attacks come out way faster, and so you just fuck shit up. It's super fun.
Incredible.
Moving on though to my number 4 game, we're getting into the real shit now. Number 5 can be a beat 'em up, but this console is too great not to consist of artistic bangers. And my first dip into the artistic toe of bangery is a game I talk about all the time, which is Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne in 2004.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
Okay.
Developed and published by Atlas, of course. You probably know the Shin Megami series. It's the Megami Tensei series, and then over here they're called Shin Megami Tensei. It's one of Atlas's things. They got Persona, they got this, they got Devil Summoner, right? It's these 3 different games that use the same cadre of like Pokemon
right
for you to battle. But so this game is just a straight up turn-based RPG where you are a young man in the post-apocalypse, in which a bunch of demons, which the translation, it's really like Japanese demons are not like devils, you know what I mean? Like some of them are like a floating piece of paper with a face on it, or like a teddy bear or something because of Shintoism. But every human on Earth is gone except for you, and you've become half demon. And the RPG of it all is you're just trying to figure out why. You're trying to figure out where all of your friends have gone, and mostly you're just trying to figure out if there's anything that you can fucking do about any of this. And I'm gonna get to the gameplay in a moment, but the you know me if you watch this show at all. I love some good philosophy waxing, and this game has characters in it that you can draft from just like big major religions like Buddha and Thor and fucking like the King Arthur and like just Vishnu and shit can be in your team. And you walk around having conversations with these demons, quote unquote, that are, kind of engaging in a philosophical way. Like they'll be like, "Oh, demons took over the earth. Maybe it's our time. Like, were humans really, like the majority of humans, were they any better than most of these demons?" And you're just like, that's true. But the core gameplay though, it's Pokemon. This shit is, if you ever wanted a 3D Pokemon in which
for adults,
you get a team of guys if you play the Megami.
Man.
So it'll be your guy and then 3 demons. My final party, just to like give you a synopsis of what the kind of shit that you can get, I had myself, one of the 4 riders of the apocalypse, Pestilence specifically. I had the Monkey King, a.k.a. Saitama, Dante from Devil May Cry. And I would switch him out with a guy called the something rider. It was basically Ghost Rider. It was a guy on a flaming motorcycle. So just like, cool, get him, fucking Thor and Jesus. Like it's like it's really good. So if you haven't played Shin Megami Tensei, if you like RPGs and you like serious tones in your RPG and not so like funny fantasy stuff, you know what I mean? It's quite dark topic wise. Shin Megami Tensei 3 is in where, and that's an affordable game. You can get that game. They still print it, I think, honestly. Atlas
they did
does.
For a long time, actually. When I first started Retro, it was one of those really great RPGs that I could get still new copies of by buying in bulk. Yeah,
there's remasters too that just came out recently. There's some remasters, so get those. Play Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. The game whoops ass. Have fun spending hours and hours combining demons because there's so many kick-ass characters in that game. Moving on to my number 3 favorite PlayStation 2 game, 2006, developed and published by Square Enix.
Oh.
I'm talking Kingdom Hearts 2, baby.
Wow.
This game, top brass at Square Enix end up working on this fucking game. You can
forever
say what you want when it comes to Kingdom Hearts and the combining of Disney with Final Fantasy, but this game is written by Kazushige Nojima, who's the writer for Final Fantasy VII. Mm-hmm. It's directed by Tetsuya Nomura, who you may know from doing the lead art for most of the Final Fantasy VI and VII. Absolutely. It's produced by Yoshinori Kitase, the director of Final Fantasy VI and VII and Chrono Trigger. And the music is by Yoko Shimomura. Yep. You may know her from Street Fighter 2 and Final Fight and Super Mario RPG.
We did a whole music episode on her. I talked about her.
All of those fucking all-stars make a super group to make this series, and the Kingdom Hearts 2 takes everything good from Kingdom Hearts and makes it better. And then they don't add enough of the bullshit to make it ridiculous yet. Like this one teeters on the edge of like not too much backstory lore that I need to go play an RPG for the Game Boy to understand, and floating in the air with Goofy and Donald. There's more Keyblades in this game. There's more worlds. They added the drive gauge, which is the thing where you can transform into the different forms. Oh, you didn't play this game, Buck?
I did, but it was very forgettable to me.
Oh my God. You had the magic form and the melee form and you would change your costumes. The magic form, you would float around.
Played the shit out of the first one.
This one, I played the fuck out of this game. There's so many good Disney IPs in this one. You got 100 Acre Woods, Agrabah, Atlantis, Beast Castle, Halloween Town, a personal favorite of mine.
That was super
Olympus, Port Royal from Pirates of the Caribbean is in this one. And fucking Pride Rock is from this one. This one's got Tron in it. This one's got Mulan in it. This one's got Steamboat Willie in it.
Is the first one or the second one the one that had Lance Bass as Sephiroth?
I think he might be both.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's in both of them.
Venny?
I thought it was the first one, but you guys could be right.
You know, I'm not entirely sure. The only thing I do remember about Sephiroth in this game is spending what must have been 100 hours eating a giant box of Swedish fish that I got for Christmas while grinding enemies at Pride Rock in order to get to level 100 so that I could fight Sephiroth, so that I could get his Keyblade that looks like a car key. Because fuck yes.
This is why nostalgia is such a strong emotion.
The Organization 13 gets introduced in this game.
Wow.
If you don't know what that is, it's a series of villains they introduced to the Kingdom Hearts series, which is just a bunch of badass trench coat cloaked guys with crazy names and even crazier hair and even crazier weapons. One of them uses a guitar for a weapon. Let's fucking go. Anime.
Okay. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man, when I beat this game, I cried. I love the music. I love everything about Kingdom Hearts. I love Disney. Disney wasn't a complete, it wasn't the Disney it is now back in 2005. It was slightly more lovable.
Still putting out, a yearly stuff like Lion King and Little Mermaid
hand-drawn
and Hercules
stuff.
and all
You know
that
what I mean?
stuff.
Being in Mulan, I was like, cool, let's fucking go. I still love Disney. I love this action RPG series. I love everything about this game, and they gave me more of it in the second one. And then when I hear "Don't walk away, please don't hear me say," as I'm finishing
simple and
whatever I'm
clean.
doing in the game, and I'm tearing up.
I'm not crying,
I
you're
love
crying.
Sensitivity. Yeah. So that lands it at the number 3 spot for me amongst PlayStation 2 games of all time.
Nice.
My number 2 game is one in which we begin to tread into the territory of video games as art. That's right. You guessed it. It's 2005's Shadow of the Colossus. I'll spare you the French music, but just know it's late, so I'm not going to make us listen to it, but goddamn, this game is a work of art, man. It was hard not to put it all the way at the tippy top. Developed and published by Sony Computer Entertainment Studios. Team Ico, you may know them. This is the opposite of a completely loaded team. If the previous game that I just mentioned is a blockbuster where Steven Spielberg brings in every guy that he knows, this game is a bunch of scrubs that just put their heart and soul into some shit that is just fucking unbelievably good. So directed by Fumito Ueda, who is the director and designer of Ico. Produced by Kenji Kaido, which basically he was a producer for the Clover games, and that was it. He was also the lead designer in Ape Escape. He has no credits. And then the music in this game is by a guy named Kao Otani, who did a bunch of Godzilla games and then Gundam Wing.
Wow.
He did the music for Gundam Wing. Yep. And a couple other animes like Metabots and shit like this. But so I wrote in my notes, most games want to be a Starbucks latte. This game is like espresso with a side of tonic water. You order it when you want something to challenge your tastes in video games. So many things are excellent about this game.
That's
the
funny.
Design, the fact that there are only 16 enemies, big air quotes, in the game. Great. I remember being a child and being like, what? You can do that? You could make an adventure game where there's only 16 things to kill? What would that even look like? Not to mention that the way you tackle each individual one of these enemies, spoiler alerts, they're all giant puzzles. If you haven't played Shadow of the Colossus, they're these massive entities, and they themselves are a quote-unquote puzzle where you have to figure out what in the environment can you use to destroy them. Can you climb on them? Can you trick them into going into a space where they could take damage? Things like this. Using the sun and your sword to locate the Colossus. Everyone in this chat has played this game, yes?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was playing it last
Just
night.
another example of a game design thing that made me go, what the fuck? You find the enemies by trying to make these beams line up, but you can't do it in a shaded place because you're using the sun. Like, just this game was just like, let's just always do something different. The soundtrack of this game is pretty fucking epic. I know I just said that it was made by a guy who hasn't really done a bunch of shit, but when you climb on a Colossus and then do your first strike into it, and the music, boom, boom, dun, and the fucking trumpets come in, and it comes full orchestrated. You're a tiny little weak guy, and so when you get this giant monster to like react to something you've done, and the music kicks in, you feel strong as fuck, dude.
You feel like a mythic hero.
That's, yeah.
You're in a myth, you know? Yeah.
When you're in that hallway, the hall at the beginning that has all the statues of the different colossi in there, and it's just, I mean, yeah, it was almost like really mature Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Dark Souls before Dark Souls.
But with only 16 enemies in it, like how would since there's only 16 enemies, if you haven't played this game, first of all, go play it, but I'll let you know this. There's a lot of chilling in the world, but the world is beautiful.
Yeah.
The director wanted the game's presentation, I found this quote, to exhibit the density of a painting. So he and some of the designers went to geographical landmarks in the southwestern United States, like the Grand Canyon and Death Valley. And so, that's what it ends up looking like. You're mostly in a sort of valley situation, but it's just beautiful. I haven't played the remakes of this game to see when they like touch up the graphics, but something about that PS2 draw distance and working with the limitations, the game feels super duper dreamy, and it's just super fun to float through. Not to mention that once you beat it, you get like these time trial versions for the bosses that you can do to unlock stuff that you can bring into another playthrough of the game, like an arrow that you can shoot that makes a whistle that'll distract a giant, or a mask that you can wear that makes your attacks stronger and shit like this.
I love good old school PS1, PS2 era unlock content by playing the game
without paying for it. Yeah.
Love it.
So good. And my last game, that brings me to my last game on my list, a game that makes me cry just thinking about it. It's 2006, published by Capcom, developed by the Clover Studios. Once again, I'm talking about Okami. You already know. I got the giant tattoo on the backside of my leg. This bad boy is written and directed by Hideki Kamiya, a.k.a. the guy that directed Resident Evil 2, one of the best fucking Resident Evil games, and Devil May Cry, I'll have you know. And he's the co-founder of Platinum Games. You may know them from Bayonetta and a series of other fucking awesome games. The music in this game is by Masami Ueda and a bunch of other badasses from Capcom. So that's basically the guy that made the music from Resident Evil. Buck talked about him a little bit last week. This game feels like it belongs in a Japanese cultural exhibit. If you haven't played Okami, it's just like paying every respect it can to all the aesthetics of ancient Japanese life. Like, it leans into Shintoism and Buddhism, and thematically and aesthetically. Like, at its base level, this game is a giant action RPG that will take you 50 hours to fucking play through. And every bit of that 50 hours is very compelling, very thoughtful, and very creative. Not to mention, like, so you play as this resurrected wolf hero that starts out by trying to like free this local village. Big, huge twist after almost 10 hours of gameplay. There's actually a giant world that you're supposed to be beautifying, literally, using this paintbrush mechanic, which, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you literally freeze frame the game to draw on it because you're a god of art. Dude, I can go on and on and on and on and on about this game, but I love this game and think it's the best PS2 game because it is the complete package. It's an incredibly well-written RPG with lots of hours for bang for your buck, ending in one of the best endings for any extended anything I've ever seen. It's show, movie, video game, whatever. It's a fun and unique action-adventure game with interesting mechanics, the likes of which I have yet to find in any other game since Okami. And it's just flat out beautiful to listen and look at.
It is.
I haven't played the remaster, but goddamn, the cel-shaded art and the traditional Japanese instruments being used to just set this super serene. You play as a god and you feel like you're in heaven the whole time you're playing. I mean, it is absolutely stunning.
Didn't need a remaster, but it was a nice way to be able to play it, have it be more accessible. I remember the first time I played it, there's a lot of really great storytelling and build up and visiting villages and doing all these things at the beginning. And then it culminates in this big dungeon and boss fight. And I remember being in that dungeon and being like, wow, this was a really good game. It was good. It was a little short, but it was pretty good. That's the first dungeon. There's how many? Oh, this is a full Zelda game.
Full Zelda game. Full
Wonderful.
Zelda game.
Wonderful.
But it's written so much more beautifully. So, Okami, you are, of course, at the top of my list of best PlayStation 2 games of all time. And I will see you again on my list of greatest games of all time when we do that
it's your
episode.
Final Fantasy IV, right?
You will be there, you son of a gun. I got the tattoo. I love you forever. Buck, please, the floor is yours. Give us your carousel.
All right, sorry if I'm a little quirky, but that's what I'm doing because I love the PS2, PS1, all these disc systems. I have a crap ton of games for them.
Let's do it.
You know, there's the nice mainstream stuff, but I have to go with this. Number 5 on the list. What? They made what into an RPG? Well, I'm buying that right away, even if it sucks. It didn't totally suck, but it was all right. I'm talking about 2004's Mega Man X Command Mission.
Whoa. I just had a huge chunk of my brain knocked loose.
Raph, did you know that
game.
Mega Man got a turn-based RPG in 2004?
No, I didn't.
For the PS2?
Whoa.
This game, made by Capcom, obviously, but really made by a good chunk of the Breath of Fire team.
Nice.
Especially the ones that made Breath of Fire 7 and Mega Man 7 as well, too. Hence the redesign of X in these series and the addition of whoever the fuck this guy is.
Yeah, what's
pointing
it
at
What's
Axel.
the game called again?
ZX?
Buck, what's the title again?
This one is Mega Man X Command Mission.
Command Mission. That's right. That's right.
It's a full-on turn-based RPG with Mega Man characters. They added some other guys, like you remember what was his name, Massimo, like the big dude with the hammer, with the big rocket hammer.
Yes, dude. Holy shit.
And there's what's the name of I always forget, Marino. There was just it had a ninja character. It had Mega Man. It had Zero. It had a big hulking brute. It had the healer, female Reploid kind of thing. I mean,
This game looks super cool.
Mega
Man.
Man.
I
It's a
literally-
RPG. What?
Look.
It
was
it
beautiful.
looks good. I like it.
It
I
looks
remember you
gorgeous,
playing
yeah.
this, I believe.
Oh,
That
yeah.
is so
It was
fucking awesome. That's so
look,
funny.
Cinnamon, that's her name. The female that was like the female Reploid that was like the healer.
funny.
I mean, look, is it the best game? Is it the best RPG? No. But Mega Man got a turn-based RPG. Come on, you got to respect that.
PlayStation 2, you gotta respect that.
And it's not that bad of a game, really.
Fuck yeah, good one.
Moving on to my number 4. This is the first game in this series that I played, and it is the last game in this series that I played. This is actually one of Gust's Atelier. How do you say it? Atelier series. And I'm talking about NIS America's 2007 Monachemia, Alchemists of Alrevus.
Oh my god, another one I haven't thought about in a
This was
thousand
I
years.
know I loved this game. I think I put like
never
like
laid a finger on it.
70, 80 hours into this game. I had to buy a wireless PS2 like Logitech controller for this game just so I could like chill on the couch. I played so much.
Oh wow.
This is again part of the Atelier series. It's a turn-based RPG combat RPG. This came out in 2007. So here's the deal. This was stupidly influenced by the surge of popularity of the Harry Potter series.
Oh wow,
Which
really?
the first movie came out in 2001. You play as a student named Vane, who is in year 1 of his 3 years at the Alrevus Academy, which is a floating island that has a magician's alchemist academy on it.
Anime.
And you have to persona style juggle your classes, which is basically a good way to say fetch quests, because your class will be like, go get these things from the environment, come back and make it in a cauldron, and then turn in your assignment, which is those things. And you use the alchemy system in this game to make weapons, armor, usable items. There's all these different complex ingredients and recipes. It really, when I first started playing it, it very much so reminded me of Secret of Evermore, where you had to find all the different items to do the different spells. This is more the items and such, but this has an amazing cast of characters. One of them, of course, being the amazing Muppy Coon, the alien. There's an alien that shows up at one point and joins your party. It's so... I was in a weeb phase, all right?
You were in college, right?
This was 2007, so I was out of college when this one finally came out. I was working like 7 days a week in my
That's why I don't remember
job.
you playing this one.
This was after I'd already moved out and had my own house, and you didn't visit as much anymore because you were still in high school kind of age. It has 3 character parties, which is not my favorite. However, it has the live swapping of characters in it.
Thank God.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Support of the other characters doing ability. It also very much so reminded me kind of a Valkyrie profile, but with more control over your characters with the abilities you can do. The soundtrack in this game was insanely popular in Japan. It's like 2 discs, but there's a lot of tracks that are metal as fuck.
Cool.
Hell yeah. Really cool anime characters, really great move sets, and then really great soundtrack on top. And if you were kind of digging like the Harry Potter movies at that time, but you wanted to be more anime, then this scratched every itch at the time for me for some reason. This is my collector's edition box here that has like the soundtrack and all kinds of cool stuff in it. I own the second one. I have never played it. I bought it, and I think a Zelda game, to be honest, came out around the time when the second one came out, so it's not entirely that game's fault. Moving on to number 3, did we say something about Hideki-san? Because he's back in one of the most amazing games that he made after he made Resident Evil 2, and they started playing with other options. I'm talking about Capcom's 2001 Devil May Cry.
Such a good game,
the first Devil May Cry.
The first one. All right.
Look, I am a sucker for fixed camera angles.
Yep. I was just about to say it.
I don't think they detract from a game at all. I think they add strategy to it instead.
They at least add style.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Me and Raph were talking about Devil May Cry 3, which is also a good Devil May Cry. I believe also has a PS2 release.
Yeah, I have that one.
Which
back
is
there.
a lot more
Hard
like
as
Ninja
fuck.
Gaiden. You know, but this one with the fixed camera angles is a totally different breed.
Right. So they had already been working on Resident Evil 3, or had came out had already come out. And I think I mentioned this before when I talked about this game, but this was the original Resident Evil 4. This started as Resident Evil 4, and the story goes that there was some sort of bug with an enemy within one of the edges of the map, and he started just juggling in the air off the bullets.
and some guy went, hey, wait a minute. Yeah.
And that became the juggling mechanic with Dante's sword and the guns, Ebony and Ivory, and the
fucking classic, dude.
It also just jogged a really great memory of mine that when I went to Japan my second time, I went to a pop-up cafe, Capcom cafe, and I got the dessert there that was called Ebony and Ivory, and it had a black and white chocolate guns on it.
Something about matching guns that are black and white. It was so 2000s. It was just the good shit, man.
Dark.
Hellsing had matching guns.
That was pretty. Again, in my weeb phase for sure.
Good shit.
But it was
very
RE on
Trigun,
crack.
very Boondock Saints. I don't know. It's like very 2000s, you know.
So what was the one where he has the gun in the guitar case? What was Desperado?
Desperado,
Yeah,
yes.
very Desperado.
It's a rocket
Yeah.
launcher. It's a rocket launcher. I'll never forget that pose he does too. He stretches one leg down and one leg out and puts it on his
enough
shoulder.
about Desperado.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I love that movie.
It's funny you say that though, because I had Desperado in VHS.
That was going in the DVD player. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That with Ghosts of Mars by John Carpenter is going in there.
I had the VHS, not the DVD.
Let's
Number 2 on my list is very much so in the mega buck niche category. I'm talking about From Software's 2003 Activision published Tenchu: Wrath of Heaven.
Oh shit! Nice.
Good one.
Nice.
Interesting.
So the draw distance in the original Tenchus was pretty bad because of the PS1's architecture.
Terrible, dare I
In
say.
this one, they had the draw distance to work with, so they did it when it made sense because it was over the shroud of darkness of night, right?
Yes.
But if you remember, Mac, which I know you do once I say this was the one that had the co-op
Two-player.
missions.
Yes. Oh boy, do I remember. What a fun idea.
We played the shit out of those, and they had it had missions where you could play split screen, and you had a choice. You could do head to head, where it was get through all of this, kill everybody, get to the end before your opponents, the other player.
Yeah, assassinate this guy first or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it also had the co-op ones, which, again, we're talking about the PS2, but leads into Tenchu Z for the 360, which is one of my absolute favorites.
Me too,
Which
man.
had online.
You feel like you're
co-op.
in Ocean's 11. You're like, all right, you're going to go this way, distract this guy. While his back turned, I'm going to lay some sticky rice on the floor. Then you're going to zip into the ceiling. He's going to eat the sticky rice, get poisoned. That's when we're going to put the dog and
So
hit him with a
much fun.
shuriken.
This Tenchu perfected a lot of the things that they tried to do in the previous ones. The controls felt better. The grappling hook wasn't as wonky. The draw distances weren't as borked is a good kind of word for it.
Mm-hmm.
The detection system. I think by then they'd seen enough Metal Gear that they had a better idea of what they really should have done with the detection system of the enemies rather than the way that they worked on their very set paths. While they still had that, there were variances in there, and it just a lot more robust the way that this one worked as well. And gosh, did I play the shit out of it.
That's a good fucking game.
It's almost
Yeah,
like
this
their
was-
proto like Sekido. Like that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, from software, man.
Yeah,
they
right,
were experiencing, and
Right,
and oddly enough, kind of the way that Night Rain is one of my comfort games right now. Back then, this was one of the games that I would pop in and just play it. I'd already
You
beaten it.
sick
from
bastard.
Level
Fuck
select.
yeah,
I
from
just
Soft,
loved it.
yeah.
I started to memorize levels and was just enjoying like playing Simon Says in the levels. Right,
That's a good
funny.
one.
That was
Good
the fun
pick.
for me. My number one pick for the PS2. This wasn't super hard, although there's a lot of RPGs in that are in this list, should have made this list, are on you guys' list, which I agree with being in their top 5 there. But when I started thinking about PS2 games and ones that I really just adored, I loved everything about them: the vibe, the feel, the gameplay, the storyline, the replayability, everything. This game did what Star Fox 64 did for the original Star Fox. It made those jumps, it made those changes, it had the frame rate that took what was an enjoyable game and made it feel almost perfect to me. I'm talking about 2001's by Incog, which is actually the original members of the team from Single Track that made Twisted Metal 1 and 2, because I'm talking about Twisted Metal Black.
I knew this had to be
Yeah,
on this
dude.
list somewhere. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about it the other day.
Good
Like,
call.
someone's got to bring it.
So the biggest bummer of being in a Twitch generation or a YouTube generation, if you want to go watch someone do gameplay of Twisted Metal Black, the intro, you will never get to watch the intro credits to this game the way that they are presented, because it plays Paint It Black by the Rolling Stones,
So expensive.
Fuck
which
yeah.
you can't
So
watch
expensive.
on YouTube. It's always muted.
Yes.
To hear that guitar riff as the camera zooms through stationary explosions in like the cityscape before it pops up on the Twisted Metal logo and Sweet Tooth, it would send chills up your spine every time. And to watch the intro to that, I mean, it's such an amazing song, right?
And if you just
Right, of
watch
course.
Twisted Metal Black footage without being like, if you never played Twisted Metal 1 or Twisted Metal 2, you wouldn't understand that. It's like, oh my God, they made it look so good. Like, Twisted Metal Black looks so much better than Twisted Metal 2.
So they took Twisted. Well, remember they made four Twisted Metals before this.
Whatever,
one.
you
This
know
is
what I'm saying?
technically the first reboot, and then I'll get into it. But
Yeah.
they made Twisted Metal 1 and 2 with the original single track team. And if anybody it's a Twisted Metal aficionado like me, Twisted Metal 2 is like chef's kiss, especially for the PS1. But after that, it fell away from single track, and they weren't making them anymore. Rob Zombie's in there, but they're not as good. This one took those originals, and because the graphics were that much better on the PS2, now they gave it this dark, brooding feeling, and all the characters feel dark and weird and creepy.
You had to have
all
headlights on for certain
all
stages.
the levels are just as amazing design as the first and second one, but they could do more winding things and airplanes flying overhead that are destructible and all these things. And it's like a return to force for the series when the frame rate, like I said, Star Fox to Star Fox 64. You go back and play the original Star Fox. It's a great game, but Star Fox 64 perfected what you wanted out of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, Mac, but in this game, not only is the frame rate amazing, but when you equipped different weapons, you actually saw them mechanically come out of the vehicles. You would have a pod, you would have a section in the front right of your car that would open up and the missile would flip out from the side.
Generically shoot an ice missile out the front of your car.
Yeah, it had that immersion piece to it.
Yeah.
That just
incredible.
Was so good. And the cast of characters that they brought back, this one was. This game, I don't know if you know, but this game was directed by David Jaffe, who did the God of War games.
Oh, wow.
And so you had that feeling of like he just sinks his teeth into a game.
He loves some good violence.
It's something like that, right? But the dark and brooding feeling that you get from that too. I mean,
very good pick.
Vehicular
Honestly, they
combat.
Don't make games like this. They make Wreckfest is the closest thing you're gonna
yeah,
get.
They tried to reboot it. So here's your fun fact of Twisted Metal Black. They started work on a sequel for this game that was never finished. The project was called Twisted Metal Harbor City. It was never officially announced, but when they made the Twisted Metal Head-On Extra Twisted, which was the PSP Twisted Metal, and then they put the digital version of it, they put the 4 completed levels of this game in there as bonus stuff. It was called Twisted Metal Lost.
Whoa.
And what they were going to do was they wanted to make the game feel a little more large and open world, but they still wanted them to be levels. And so the levels were going to be connected by like areas or bridges or tunnels or other things where you'd traverse to the next area of the game.
Ooh, that'd be a
Never
good
got to see that, but amazing game.
Damn shame. Twisted Metal.
Transforming, Sweet Tooth, ice cream truck.
Come back to us, Twisted. Oh my God, that's right, the boss. Come back to us, Twisted Metal. If you haven't played Twisted Metal Black, it deserves that top spot. You should play it. You should play it however you can. Very good. Raph, your games, sir.
Okay. Well, so my number 5 game. Growing up, I absolutely loved Dragon Ball Z. It was like other than Pokemon, like my main intro into anime. There was one game that I felt like you were in the anime, and that was Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I've talked about this game numerous times. I fucking love this game, dude. There's nothing really like it. I mean, now that you've got Sparking Zero, which kind of like refines the formula. Sure. But this was the first one that really just, it got it down. Like the size of the arena, all the arenas felt nice and big. You had a huge variety of kick-ass characters, like from various, parts of the anime. They had the cool flashy super moves, and it just felt fucking awesome to play. My favorite thing is that some of these super moves could actually alter the terrain. So you could be on Namek and be playing against Frieza. Frieza does his death ball, and then you're on dying Namek. Like all of a sudden, like the planet gets partially destroyed, you're on dying Namek. Super cool.
They had gotten so good with the cell shading by that.
They really did.
Too.
Yes, that's the other thing is that the game
good.
looks gorgeous. It looks like you're playing through the anime. I love playing as having my buddy play as Vegeta, and then I would play as Goku, and then by the end of it, you start off as regular Vegeta and Goku. By the end of it, you're both in your final forms, and the planet's all blown up and shit. It's great. Yeah, exactly. It's great. It's great.
I love these games as well.
Yeah. So many afternoons. I had a buddy of mine. I always talk about this, but he and I would after school go to his house every day. We would just chill at his house for hours and play this. We got really good at it, so these fights would take a long time, and we would play this in Super Smash Brothers all day, and we would just waste hours playing this. That's my number 5 game. I just realized too, published by Atari too. Yeah, Atari. That's cool.
They published a lot of games.
Yeah. My number 4 game is one that I spent a lot of time playing on my own. I never got to play it with other people, which would have been nice because it is kind of like a multiplayer game. Wasn't there something special about a pre-MCU Marvel universe, right? Yeah.
They were very hit or miss.
2006 is Marvel Ultimate Alliance, dude.
That's a hit.
Ultimate
Yeah,
Alliance,
game,
baby.
Dude,
Nice
I
one.
fucking love this game. I still play it. Like every once in a while, I'll just pop in and I'll play it. It's fun, dude. It's got the silly comic bookiness to it that you don't see in stuff after the MCU. Like the MCU tried to be really gritty and realistic. Marvel Ultimate Alliance really captures that pre-MCU vibe. It's got a massive roster of characters, a bunch of cool locations that are all like dungeons that you get to play. The cool thing is that you could also like match up your party to be a certain group and get sort of bonuses too. Like you can play as all X-Men. And you know, like you get like certain boosts, or you can play as like the Fantastic Four and get certain boosts. Is really fun.
You didn't get to play this a lot with friends because this game is amazing multiplayer.
I know, dude. I played it a lot alone. I didn't have a lot of friends of mine that really wanted to play this game.
I'm sorry.
You know, it's basically Gauntlet, like Gauntlet Legends, but with like, you know, Marvel characters. It's great. I love all the deep cut characters too. Like I'd never heard of who Fing Fang Foom was before I played this game, or like some like Doctor Strange. Like even Doctor Strange for me was kind of like a deep cut character back then when this came out.
Back then, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now he's very well known. But
I think I remember getting this game for the Xbox, not the PS2, just so we could play 4 players.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that would have been nice. Shit. Was there a multi-tap for the PS2?
Noise. Yeah.
There was. I just don't.
yeah.
But games didn't always support it.
I see. Okay. But yeah, dude, no, this game had all the lore in it too. Like it had all of the comic book lore. I actually learned a lot about comic books, like Marvel characters, through this game. It was just really nice seeing all of your favorite characters kind of like in one place, outside of the context of the comic books, or outside of the context of all of the different animated series that were out at the time or just before this.
Right.
Also,
oh yeah.
It's incredibly jarring to see Black Widow and have her have a Russian accent, because she doesn't have a Russian accent later on after the MCU.
Sure, right.
funny.
Yeah, she drops it.
Pretty funny. But yeah, that's my number 4. My number 3. Number 3.
3 comes after 4 when you're counting down.
Yes, it does. My number 3 is 2005's Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Such a good one.
Never did play that one.
I fucking love this. Dude, I was an unabashed Star Wars fan growing up as a kid. I owned the entire original trilogy on VHS. That's later on. I think at this point I had it on DVD. I had watched all the prequels in theaters with childish excitement. I played every Star Wars game that I can get my hands on. This game was a nerd's wet dream, dude.
You picked a Star Wars game and a Dragon Ball game and a Marvel game. Pick a nerd struggle, man.
I get all of them, man. I got all of them. I got them all. Dude, you know, this game, like I said, it's a nerd's wet dream. I spent hours playing this game. Honestly, the PS2 was famously very bad at being an online console, so I didn't get to play it online, but I did play against the bots, for hours and hours on end. The battles are huge. I got to play like all of my favorite, battles in the series, in the franchise, and play as like, this one had the heroes that you could play as. So you can play as the different Jedi, you can play as Han Solo, you can play as all the villains and stuff like that. I just, I spent hours reliving my favorite scenes in these movies through this game. And the couch co-op was fun as hell too. I actually bonded quite a bit with my nephew. It's like one of the things that I used to play a lot with my younger nephew, and he also ended up becoming a big Star Wars fan because of me growing up. So
Unky Waff, can you be Boba Fett again?
Yeah, right. Dude, this game right here is one that I cherish greatly because of that memory. As an adult,
that's one of those ones that on Metacritic is in like the 200s, and it's like, are you kidding?
Yeah, dude. No,
there's so many good titles on it. It's not fair.
Unfortunately, my copy that I have here is actually a little bit banged up, and I tried getting it to play, and I just could not get it to play properly.
I got a resurfacer, man. Bring it over.
Yeah, I might be able to get it. It might just need a.
You would not believe the freaking destroyed discs we can fix with a nice resurfacer.
I'll take that into account. But moving on to my number 2 game. So this was a game that was my first real step into survival horror. And it began my love affair with horror that I still have to this very day. And that's 2005's Resident Evil 4 on the PlayStation 2. Mm-hmm. I think this game is perfect from beginning to end. From its very opening, its opening sequence where Leon is being driven through the countryside and has to enter that cabin, to its absolutely explosive ending. It's pure cinematic atmosphere, start to finish. And I understand
version.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say had some differences. From
That's
the
what I was about to
GameCube
get
one.
into. Yeah, so I understand this version actually is technically, literally technically is inferior to the GameCube version. The GameCube version had better graphics and sound quality. It had a higher enemy density. It had better AI. But the PS2 had a couple of things that it one-upped it on, and that's that it had way more content. So this game actually had all of the little side stories that were on the GameCube one, but it also had the Separate Ways DLC that had Ada Wong. You can play through the story through Ada Wong's perspective, which is kind of cool. If you play the remake, that's also something that they just, well, not recently, but it was like something that was very, very greatly anticipated that they finally released for it relatively recently. There's so many memorable moments in this game that just still stick with me to this day. The opening sequence where you first encounter one of the ganados in the cabin there, and he's just cooking, and you show up and Leon's just being a goofball, and the guy just turns around and tries to murder him. That's great. The absolutely overwhelming fight in the town square at the beginning that absolutely terrified me.
It's great.
Trying to run away from the chainsaw guys. Oh my god, dude. The first time I got my head cut off by a chainsaw guy was fucking terrifying for me.
Them opening that game with that area, it set the tone for you that Resident Evil is different now.
Yes, absolutely.
It literally went.
Really
oh, do you remember going into a mansion? Oh, do you remember being funneled down some alleyways in Raccoon City, or maybe going into the Raccoon PD? And the first thing they do is they throw you into that village in 4, and they're like,
none of that
to
now.
New Resident Evil.
You can dive out a window or kick a ladder out from under them while they're climbing up it. So man, other moments. The fight against Del Lago in the boat, that's incredible. The first time I encountered the regenerators, I almost shit my pants. Genuinely one of the most frightening things that I've seen in any Resident Evil game. Like, not even just in this game, in any Resident Evil game. Regenerators are scary as hell. But yeah, man, Resident Evil 4, my number 2 game. Also, the dog that helps during the El Gigante boss fight is the bestest boy ever. Moving on. Just saying, moving on. My number 1 game is a weapon to surpass Metal Gear, and that's Metal Gear Solid 3. Subsistent.
The one without Solid Snake in most of it.
I know, right? Yeah, you play as Naked Snake in this game.
3. Oh, 3.
This is 3.
Up 2 for a
this
second
is not. Oh, and it's not just Snake Eater. It's Metal Gear Solid 3 Subsistence. In particular, I chose Subsistence very specifically because I think that this game is the superior version of this game in any sort of medium. Man, this game is my favorite PlayStation 2 game. Like, the only other game that might be tied for it, and the only reason I didn't pick it is because I knew Mac was going to have it on there, but Shadow of the Colossus comes very, very close to being my favorite PS2 game ever. And this is also a strong contender for most likely like one of my favorite games of all time. It's definitely in the top 3. But I chose Subsistence, like I said, because of the sheer amount of content that is in this game. The original version of Snake Eater, it had a fixed camera. It had the top-down perspective that you have in previous Metal Gear Solid games. This one got rid of that, although it gave you the option to revert it back. But you had 2 discs on this. You had the Subsistence disc and you had the Persistence disc. Subsistence had the main game, and it also had the hold on, my notes right here. Oh yeah, it had the main game and it had the demo theater. So you can actually watch all of the cutscenes in the game through the demo theater. But then disc 2, labeled Persistence, had everything else. It had the MSX versions of Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. Solid Snake are both on there, the entire games.
I feel asleep.
What's that?
I feel asleep.
Yeah, right. Yes, I feel asleep.
The famous line from the first Metal
very
Gear
famously poorly translated. Yeah, it has the Snake versus Monkey game mode on the second disc. It has the Secret Theater, which is something that was a promotional thing leading up to this game coming out that was so popular that they added it to this version of the game. And the Secret Theater was basically a secret mode that had alternate versions of cutscenes with humorous dialogue added into it, almost like bloopers. and it also had like alternate voice lines by different voice actors in it, which is pretty wild.
What?
Whoa.
It had a boss duel mode on the second disc, so you can just do the boss fights. And finally, it had Metal Gear Solid Online, which was the first foray that they ever did into online gameplay on this. Which I just found out. It's a good thing that we actually peek behind the curtain. We actually delayed this episode by 1 day to record it. The recording rather. I found out yesterday that that's actually coming to Metal Gear Solid Delta. Metal Gear Online is actually something new that's coming to Metal Gear Solid Delta, which is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
I know, man. I'm so happy about that.
Oh no!
So I tried. I actually did try. I hooked this up to an Ethernet cable and I got online, but I couldn't really find like a proper lobby to play. Yeah, it was very difficult. The PS2 was really bad at playing online. Yes. There was even a limited edition version of Subsistence that had a third disc on it, and this third disc contained all of the game's cutscenes edited together into a movie. And it also had the trailer for Metal Gear Solid 4 in this thing. Dude,
fuck. Cool.
Yeah, dude. I've played this game
Good
100
game.
times, man. 100 times over.
Yeah.
It makes me cry. The boss battles are all great. Every single one of them. That ending boss sequence is like one of the most beautiful cinematic endings that I've ever experienced in a
Metal
video
Gear
game.
Solid 3 episode. For
I can go. Yeah, I can. It's just
Learn about the thingamabobs. We've got 20.
Yeah. So many big swings taken in this game. That's my number one game on the PS2. Yeah, that's where I'm. Yeah, that's
very
I'm
good choice. Raph, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater Subsistence.
Snake Eater.
Mr. Venecor, take us home with your 5 favorite games for the PlayStation 2.
Buckle up,
sir.
buckaroo.
Here we go.
5 favorite games, the PS2. I'll bring us home, guys, because running a little long, so I'm gonna jump right in.
That's how it goes on these.
Yeah,
that's how it goes, man. So my top 5 list I shared with you guys before we start, just so we could make sure we didn't have any overlap and stuff like that. I actually kicked one of my games off my list, and I'm replacing I'm replacing my number 5.
Sometimes it'd be like
and
that.
I don't have the boxes handy, but I do own all these games. Number 5, Parappa the Rapper 2. Chop back again. Yes, forever.
I didn't know if the second one was any good. I never played the second one.
The second one was very good. Actually, Parappa 1, Jammer Lammy was the second game. It was a guitar. And then once you beat the game, there was another, you could go back through the game as Parappa. So it was 2 in 1. And then the third game was Parappa 2. It was very, very good. The graphics, the visuals stepped up tremendously by the time it got to the PS2.
Yeah.
And, there's never a lack in quality for those games. So, I mean, if you never heard Parappa or Jammer Lammy, just great rhythm game. Very Japanese, very cute, very chibi, very big, colorful, like anime style characters. Lots of fun. Very
like
memorable.
Sugary sweet of a game. Yeah. It's like a candy.
Yeah. Man, you hang out with you hang out with Buck and I on Discord enough, you're gonna hear some like really inside jokes with Parappa the Rapper songs.
Check and turn the signal to the left.
Flea market since my mama was a baby. Okay,
I was in Japan the visit before before Venecor went with us. I was going at Gashapon shop that was in Radio Kaikon, and I'm going up and down, and I'm at the bottom of shelf like 37, and I find this little rubber. It's the flea market frog from Parappa 1, and it was like $2, and I bought it for him. I'm like, I have to.
Good game.
Moving right along. Number 4, developed by Capcom, and a action adventure. An action adventure game, beat 'em up style game, but with a twist. This series is known for being brutally hard because it's from the Ghost and Goblins universe. I'm talking about Maximo.
Oh shit!
On PS2.
I never played this.
Okay,
I need you to describe
Maximo's hard, guys. So think of Ratchet and Clank. Think of Kingdom Hearts. The behind the back. Action combat.
Lots of jumping.
Ratchet and Clank's probably the best. And Astrobot, another good example. For some of you younger viewers out there who may have played Astrobot and not Maximo, but it had Ghosts and Goblins, classic franchise from Capcom, known for being incredibly hard. Started out in an arcade. It started out in the arcade, and then came home to the NES, and lots of iterations of this game. GBA had a great Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Super Ghouls and Ghosts on the SNES was, I believe, one of the launch titles.
Wonderful game.
So it was really cool to see them, resurrect the Ghosts and Goblins franchise with Maximo, and it was also hard.
I did not realize that it was in that universe.
Great game, really.
See
great
the
game.
artwork in my child dreams, like in the blockbuster.
guy in the heart
I can
boxers.
see it on the shelf. Yes.
Yeah,
That's your dead giveaway that it's from that universe.
Well, it was just him with a sword in the cover and on the box. He's got his sword and his shield on, none in his underwear.
But it had style. It had that signature style that made it very recognizable.
Good pick.
So yeah, Maximo, really really good one.
Only 2 games with guys in their underwear like that. That and that puzzle game, Catherine.
Telling you.
Yeah.
Another one I want to try. My number 3 on the PS2 console carousel, coming in right behind Raph, Metal Gear Solid 2, baby.
Hell yeah,
Sons of
nice.
Liberty.
Good choice.
The one that doesn't really have Solid Snake in.
Sons of Liberty, right? That was Sons of Liberty.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, Sons of Liberty.
Man, I got to tell you that it's another one of those instances where there was such a massive jump up in quality from the previous game, and you found that a lot in the PS1 to PS2 jump. That was a very very large gap in technology and the kind of visuals we could put on screen. You're talking Ballerina Toshinden versus Dead or Alive 2 as
world apart. Yeah.
As fighting game launch titles for those respective consoles. So I mean,
Face
there you
made
go.
from 4 polygons versus a face.
Where you're like, I don't even
Exactly.
see polygons anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the era where you just started to not see polygons anymore.
That's a good point.
But I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2 just had it was just such an amazing narrative, and the first game where Snake was not the main protagonist, and
Bait and switch.
absolutely
We got bait and switched.
Nah, I like riding a lot. I like
I like Raiden too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can somebody
And
tell me why the last boss in that game isn't Gaseous Snake?
Yes,
Boo.
There's Solid Snake
Zing.
and Liquid Snake.
Boo.
Gaseous.
Continue, sir. Continue.
Solidus
Continue.
Snake.
Continue. Yeah.
Solidus.
Yes, please. For the love of God.
Coming in with my runner-up on the PS2. Everyone knows it's no surprise that I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, with Final Fantasy Tactics being my number 1 game of all time. Now, I'm not talking about Final Fantasy 11, which was the MMO. The MMO was good, and Final Fantasy 11 is a good game. However, I don't feel it was a very good PS2 game, and I'll just leave that there. But for those who had the dedication and wanted to play FF11 so much that they used the PS2 to do it, my hat's off to you, man. Hats off.
That's how I played 11.
Yeah.
That was not a great gaming
With
experience.
a wired keyboard.
It was not.
Didn't
But
have a great
God
PC
bless
at
you.
the time.
But no, not FF11, dear viewers. I'm talking about Final Fantasy X.
Nice.
FF10 is my number 2 PS2 title of all time.
Very good game.
What a tremendous this is the 3rd time I've said it, but it's an ongoing theme with this generation.
Yeah.
What a leap that
jump,
we
yeah.
got, from Zidane and FF9 and the Kingdom of Alexandria, all the way to that now we have it's beautiful open world that you can actually feel that for the first time. You felt the immersion factor, the size of the character versus the massiveness of the mountains or whatever, or the beaches and stuff. It was a level of immersion that I don't think was captured in a Final Fantasy game yet. And
Do you remember in Final Fantasy
was
8
just-
during the ballroom scene? You're the most handsome guy
Handsome
here.
guy here.
Squall's face just looks like shit.
just garbled pixels?
Yes.
Yeah. Saw a Halloween costume of that the other day, by the way.
Oh, that's so
That's
good.
good.
But yeah, Final Fantasy X. I mean, everyone you know and love FF10. I don't really need to go too much into that one.
First voice acted Final Fantasy game.
Yep.
Yes,
First voice acted Final Fantasy.
and it was very good. It was very good.
First one with fully 3D like environments and everything as well. It was no pre-rendered
100%.
backgrounds or anything like that in this one. Yeah.
And even though it was 3 character parties, it had the swapping, so it appeased fans like me that didn't like that as
And the
much.
characters in that
well.
game kick ass.
Oh yeah.
They really do. And,
Yeah.
and you know, I love
You got
FF10.
big titted goth girl. You got completely silent guy who's half tiger. You got it's fucking
You got dude with one arm, but carries a big sword
drunk,
anyway.
Yeah, drunk guy with one arm who's like the epitome of that. But the little guy hasn't done anything yet.
And you got the goofy stoner that just wants to play hacky sack.
Yes, Waka.
Right,
Yeah,
Waka.
so good.
Voiced by
good-ass
John
Final
DiMaggio, Jake on Adventure Time.
No
by
shit.
the way.
Oh my
real?
gosh.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yes, that's Waka. Yeah.
Play baseball.
And you know, don't let anybody tell you that Final Fantasy X-2, the sequel, was a crappy game. It wasn't. It was a good game.
Oh, I've heard it's really
Really
good.
should go give it a fair shot.
I love Britney Spears' Final Fantasy. Don't let anybody take it away.
I was so salty. I was so salty that they finally made a Final Fantasy game sequel, and then that's what they sold it as. That I was just so turned off.
The music
10
was
also
insanely good too.
Has the sphere grid system.
Correct.
That shit was
Yeah.
fucking mind-boggling.
Very,
cool.
very good advancement system. I thought the
Yeah.
sphere grid was one of the best.
It was pretty cool.
It
They
really
perfected it
it
in that
allowed for some
re-release.
unique stuff, some unique
Yeah.
builds that you could do if
Yeah,
you wanted
definitely.
to, which I appreciated.
For those who've never seen the sphere grid in FF10, think Path of Exile.
That's what I was
That's
just
how
thinking.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you pretty much progress.
Characters
your
could like
character.
overlap their sphere grid and learn like the same abilities too, which was
Right.
cool.
That's
And if
cool.
you could get
Once you-
someone to go
exactly.
across levels, sometimes they'd get extra shit.
Some would connect more closely with others. Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So coming in with my number one
number one. I'm so
PS2
excited.
game of all time, and you know this one's very near and dear to me, and we just for the first time in like 14 years got the newest game in this franchise. It's na 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 do 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 katamari damashi. Yeah, there it is, Raph. Thanks. Hey, Mac.
Game fucking rocks.
Mac, if you could do me a favor, and toss an image that I'm going to send you on screen. I don't know if I
Sure.
showed this. Oh yeah, I did show this one before. Actually, it was
Oh.
the costume photo from.
I already know.
Halloween.
I didn't even need to see it. And I already know which picture.
Yeah,
It's
so,
burned in my retinas
so
forever.
So funny.
as you may be seeing on screen at this point, if you're doing the Spotify or the YouTube
Turn off
thing,
your Spotify video. if you're
yeah.
watching.
In the year 2013 rather, I cosplayed as the King of the Cosmos at Dragon Con, and I gotta say,
It's a good costume.
I
It is.
painted that
It was
head
good.
myself by hand. And
was
I
pretty
gotta
good.
say, it was pretty fun. to
It's
do.
very good.
I took a
Kudos to
lot
you.
of
That's pretty
uh,
good. Cosplay is
people-
hard.
People took a lot of pictures of me.
Describe
that
Katamari Damacy in case someone
You
hasn't
can't.
played
That's the
it.
fun part. You can't.
So katamari in Japanese means just like ball of rubbish, or something really similar to that. So what the game is, you are the prince of the cosmos, and your father, the king of the cosmos, got drunk one night and destroyed all the stars. So it's your job to take the katamari, which is this ball. This is developed by Namco, by the way, and you use the twin sticks on your controller, and that's what you use to push, like sort of tank controls. With the katamari, and anything that touches the ball, if it's small enough, will stick to the ball. So the ball keeps growing and growing and growing and growing, and you get like once it gets a certain size, like the camera zooms out, you get a bigger perspective. You can start picking up, bigger stuff. Long story short, every katamari you roll up becomes a star in the sky. And as you go through the levels, the sizes start to get bigger and bigger and bigger,
very
and then
addictive
in
to
the
play
last level, you're literally rolling up like the whole planet. You go from little thumbtacks and paper clips to
like buildings,
the
to
clouds and the islands, and like your Katamari's the same size as the Earth.
Are we sure
on the
that
last
drugs
level.
aren't legal in Japan?
I'm telling you, man, what a memorable game! And just I believe last month, new Katamari game.
We got like
It's
the first
called,
real new.
Once Upon a Katamari. It came out on October 24th, so literally like 2 weeks ago, and
I don't know that.
it introduced introduced new game modes, a lot of improvements. I have not dove into it yet, but some
So is it like a
family
much
members
higher-
asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said, "Get me that game."
Is it much higher fidelity now? Because part of the funnest part, I think, the most fun part about that one, I thought, was like the dog was made of like 10 pixels, right? Like that's part of the fun, is everything's a goofy looking object.
Oh, it still has that style
in the original. That's fun. I like
Yeah,
that.
The style is still there. Yeah. So
game
there it
is
is. My top PS2 game. Wouldn't trade it for the world. Such a delightful game.
It's a game
love
you
the
almost can't
PS2.
believe got made. Like
Right.
it's, yeah.
That's the PS2, baby.
Yeah, truly,
That is
honestly.
It had games on it that were just like, what the fuck is this? You can't do this. And they're like, get the fuck out of here. Yes, we
We're gonna
can.
make sequels.
Yeah, it's so fucking awesome, dude.
That's how coked up we are.
That does it for the PS2, and we are running long, so that does
pretty
it
good.
for our episode on the Sony PlayStation 2, the greatest video game home console of all time, and our 100th episode. Thank you so much, dear listener or watcher, for listening or watching. Do us a huge favor, like and subscribe. If you are just listening, hey, flip that Spotify open or go to YouTube. Like us there. You can watch us stream. We just got done playing some Arc Raiders, which we're going to talk about more next week, I believe. We play scary games on Sundays. We're playing Silent Breath together tomorrow. That'll be fun. You can reach out to us via email with any questions, comments, or games you want us to play, gametreasurepodcast@gmail.com. Head on over to our merch store, which is at our linktree /the GTP. While you're there, you can visit our Patreon, patreon.com /the GTP. We want to thank Crunkwitch for the use of our theme song, Clash of the Droids. You can find their music on Spotify, Apple Music, and anywhere you can find music on the internet. Check them out. They're awesome. And of course, last but not least, we need to thank RetroGameTreasure.com, owned and operated by the Megabuck himself. Retro Game Treasure is a subscription service that takes the hassle out of collecting retro video games. Whether you're starting your retro game collecting journey or just looking to finish it in the most economical and least time wasting way, you go to RetroGameTreasure.com, become a subscriber, let them know what kinds of video games you like to play and for what systems. And then at the end of the month, they do all the legwork of selecting a cadre of games to send to you to add to your collection permanently. So start collecting video games the easy way now with RetroGameTreasure.com. Until next week, my name is Max Stein, and I love the Game Treasure Podcast. It's so bad.
It's so
Bad.
bad.